Nvidia or Micron? Billionaire Ken Fisher makes a massive bet on one top AI stock. We're going to dive into it in this video, guys. Talk a little bit about what is going on here with this big bet. And of course, the AI trade has been huge here in 2026 and 2025, but it's been shaping the entire market narrative now. Honestly, for the last couple of years, companies operating in AI related fields have seen massive real world impact, and that has fed into stocks valuations, as you can see right here. And we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on here and what stock Ken Fisher's all up in arms about. But given the amount of hype surrounding the game changing tech, there's been plenty of discussion around the possibility of an AI bubble. We've had these conversations here on the channel too, one that will eventually pop and send the market and the economy into a downward spiral. I do not think this is a bubble, and I'll tell you why. Every bubble that we've had in the past, the issue that arose was demand weakened. Right now, the demand is sky high. We have a supply issue, not a demand issue when it comes to chips, when it comes to memory, when it comes to HBM, high bandwidth memory, when it comes to electricity, when it comes to power. It's a demand issue, not a supply issue. But billionaire investor Ken Fisher has a retort to that thesis as well, arguing that the talk of an AI bubble might mean there actually isn't one. He said the widespread discussion of AI as a bubble indicates fear in the market, which is the opposite of real bubble, characterized by euphoria and disbelief in a fundamentally changed world. Fisher's net worth over $13 billion. He thinks today's AI boom is completely different from the dot-com bubble in the late 90s. Back then, many unprofitable startups depended on constant stock offerings to stay afloat, whereas today's leading AI players are large, highly profitable companies financing their initiatives through strong cash flow and solid balance sheets. That does not mean Fisher's blindly bullish on every AI stock, though. He remains heavily invested in several of the market's largest AI names. Recent portfolio changes show he has been leaning far more aggressively into one industry giant, though, while reducing exposure to the other. We'll start with Nvidia, recognized today as the AI company, a status built on its standing as the world's most valuable company. Nvidia boasts an all-conquering data business center. Yet, hark back to the start of the decade, and the chip maker was primarily known as just a manufacturer of GPUs aimed at the gaming market. Gaming used to be Nvidia's primary revenue driver, which is crazy to think about. And it was not until July of 2020 that the company's data center business surpassed gaming for the first time. In that period, data center revenue reached $1.75 billion ahead of gaming revenue at $1.65 billion. Although gaming temporarily regained the lead in the following quarters, the balance changed for good as generative AI entered the frame and gathered momentum. By the April quarter of 2022, data center revenue had decisively moved ahead of gaming. It says here, as it turned out, NVIDIA's pioneering GPUs proved ideally suited for the intensive mathematical processing required in machine learning. It says here, NVIDIA will release its latest quarterly report this Wednesday, May 20th. Fisher must believe the Jensen Huang-led company will deliver again. During Q1, he bought 2.5 million shares, holding currently right around $590 million worth of the stock. Recently, though, it says here, in recent months, with agentic AI and memory bottleneck in focus, NVIDIA has underperformed some of the other big names. Compute is extraordinarily tight, where we believe that NVIDIA is sold out for both 2026 and 2027. They get into a little bit of the semi supply chain, right? Some of the bottlenecks there with memory. And accordingly, the five-star analyst rates NVIDIA shares as overweight. The street's average target is less exuberant, 280, but that figure still factors in 1 year gains of 24%. 350 was the five-star So yeah, basically a couple different price targets. 350, that's Muse, and then 280 coming from the street. Nvidia's rise has been extraordinary, but Micron's recent ascent has been no less fascinating to watch. Micron is actually outperforming Nvidia over the last year or so. But AI has currently changed the rule book. It says demand for memory has surged dramatically, and specific HBM, right, and DRAM, both forms of high performance memory used in active processing. The high bandwidth memory, man, that trade's been huge. You've got Micron, you've got SanDisk, you've got HK Hynix, you've got Samsung. The AI-driven surge in memory demand has pushed customer commitments to unprecedented levels, with Micron already indicating that its entire 2026 HBM supply has been fully allocated. It says here, still, that backdrop did not convince Fisher to maintain a large position in Micron, interestingly. In fact, during Q1, the billionaire sold Micron shares. The move suggests he saw limited reason to keep even his already relatively modest exposure to the memory giant. Does he think there's going to be some kind of pullback here? In terms of, price targets here, so MU, the stock forecast here for MU actually has an average price target of 608. So they think it's going to be coming down a little bit here in the short term. And I do think we could see some pullbacks in the semiconductor space right now. I mean, things are certainly overheated, and eventually I think these are going to be great plays, but things have gone up so fast that I think, it'd be silly to think it's going to go up forever, right? But basically what I'm gathering here is this billionaire, Ken Fisher, still all in on Nvidia heavily. He thinks that has, a better chance to go up throughout the rest of 2026 right now than Micron. And I probably would take the same bet. It's definitely a less risky bet for sure, but it'll be interesting to watch. I've got exposure to both assets, a little bit more Nvidia than Micron, but I do own both of these. But we'll continue to bring you guys up to speed on what's going on with the AI trade, and make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit that like button for us as well. We'll see you guys in the next one.